What's up guys, MickeyMoTiOnZ here. This is a new series called Formula 1 2012 Tips and Tricks series, where I teach the Formula 1 gaming community how to become better racers. This idea came along when there were people racing on Live with the Subs, and a few people kept crashing into the back of people at the first turn line. So then I thought, this can be quite embarrassing for some of you guys, especially during a live stream. Therefore, I'm going to make a stop to that embarrassment by giving you tips and tricks twice a week. In this first episode, I'm going to be teaching the less experienced drivers how to drive with either a racing wheel or a controller. I'll be getting into more detail of the actual racing, but for now, I'm going to be teaching you the basics, the controls first, because otherwise, if you don't know the controls, then you won't be able to race offline or online. So first of all, before you start playing, go over to the options by pressing the start button, which will give you a menu. Then go over to driving controls. Here you will have two presets. In my opinion, preset 2 is better to use. To be honest, this is probably the best settings to use in the actual game, but obviously it depends on how you want to drive, so obviously change the buttons to your liking. But I'm just going to show you how I set my buttons if I use a control. So first of all, I changed accelerate to R2 and brake to L2. On Xbox, that would obviously be the triggers. And the gears just feel much better if you use it with L1 and R1, because you won't mess up your gearing. It will feel really weird with square and X. So for a beginner, I would advise using these settings. It will feel much better than using the actual analog sticks. But if you are an experienced control user, then you should change to preset 2. So once you have set your controls, go to driving assists. If you're not an experienced driver, so you haven't played any racing games or you probably never played Formula 1 before, I advise using easy difficulty first. And once you gain experience racing for a few weeks, then change the braking assist off. And just keep turning one assist off at a time, and you shall be better over a period of time, because obviously it's going to take practice depending on how many hours you put in. Also use flashbacks to your advantage when you make a mistake. Once you have done this, you are ready to drive. But obviously I'm not going to forget about the wheel users, so if you want the exact same feeling that you get in Formula 1 2011 using a wheel, then I recommend these settings. So first of all, set steering linearity to 28%, especially if you're using a Driving Force GT, because that's the exact settings I'm using. If you are using a different wheel, however, change the settings depending on how the wheel feels, and you can do this by changing the linearity, which is usually the only thing you need to change in this game for wheel users. And by the way, linearity stops the wheel from being so sensitive, so the more higher you go, the less sensitive it's going to be. So for force feedback settings, I use force feedback and wheel weight on 100% and environmental effects on 50%, because my wheel is a bit weak, so I have to use full strength so I can get the normal feel from the force feedback. I advise just turning down wheel weight a bit if you feel that the wheel weight is a bit too high for you. I would also advise just doing a few laps of practice just so you can get the right settings, because little things like that can actually help you be faster by a few tenths. If you don't feel confident using traction control off, then I advise putting traction control on full and then just practice a few laps and then just stepping it back once you get used to driving quite well on the track. And ABS you should turn off, just be smooth under braking and don't brake while you turn, otherwise you will lock up. So I hope you guys learn about the controls and the right settings you should be using. In the next episode, I will be teaching you the basics of driving using the Young Drivers test. Guys, please make sure you like this video and comment, just giving me some tips on how I can improve this series so I can make it as perfect as possible. Also, please make sure you subscribe and like my Facebook page and follow me on Twitter so you don't miss whenever I upload a video or whenever I'm live streaming. But anyway, this is MickeyMoTiOnZ. I'm out. See you.